Trump talking to Tim Russert about North Korea.
And you say that you, as president, would be willing to launch a preemptive strike against North Korea's nuclear capability.
First, I'd negotiate. I would negotiate like crazy, and I'd make sure that we tried to get the best deal possible. Look, Tim, if a man walks up to you on a street in Washington, because this doesn't happen, of course, in New York, but if a man walks up and puts a gun to your head and says, give me your money, wouldn't you rather know where he's coming from before he had the gun in his hand? And these people, in 3 or 4 years, are going to be having nuclear weapons. They're going to have those weapons pointed all over the world, and specifically at the United States. And wouldn't you be better off solving this really potentially unbelievable, and the biggest problem, I mean, we can talk about the economy, we can talk about Social Security. The biggest problem this world has is nuclear proliferation. And we have a country out there in North Korea, which is sort of wacko, which is not a bunch of dummies, and they are going out and they are developing nuclear weapons. And they're not doing it because they're having fun doing it, they're doing it for a reason. And wouldn't it be good to sit down and really negotiate something, and ideally negotiate? Now, if that negotiation doesn't work, you better solve the problem now than solve it later, Tim. And you know it, and every politician knows it, and nobody wants to talk about it. Jimmy Carter, who I really like, and he went over there, it was so soft. These people are laughing at us.
The former general of the Air Force, Merrill McPeak, the former Secretary of Defense, Les Aspin, said you could not launch a preemptive strike against North Korea because the nuclear fallout could be devastating to the Asian Peninsula.
I'm not talking about us using nuclear weapons. I'm saying that they have areas where they're developing missiles.
So, but taking out their nuclear potential would create a fallout.
Tim, do you know that this country went out and gave them nuclear reactors, free fuel for 10 years? We virtually tried to bribe them into stopping, and they're continuing to do what they're doing, and they're laughing at us. They think we're a bunch of dummies. I'm saying that we have to do something to stop.
But if the military told you, Mr. Trump, we can't do this.
Give me 2 names. You're giving me 2 names. I don't know. You want to do it in 5 years when they have warheads all over the place, every one of them pointing to New York City, to Washington, and every one of them. Is that when you want to do it, or do you want to do something now?
When you look at North Korea versus places like Afghanistan, Syria, Barack Obama drew his line in the sand, you'll recall. And his line in the sand was to be followed up with military activity involving troops, involving bloodshed, and it could be serious. The Russian involvement in propping up the Syrian government of Assad. You had ISIS waiting to fill the void should Assad be toppled, which, by the way, is exactly what we did in Libya and Egypt and in Iraq, and to a different extent. You can also look to our bungling of Lebanon, but leave all that aside. What you have in the case of North Korea is not the radical Muslim menace. You have the kind of arguments we're used to having. In the course of my lifetime, and in the 20 years before I was born in 1970, we're comfortable with the idea of a satellite nation as a puppet or prop of a world superpower. China's the looming threat here. It's not North Korea. And as my friend points out, China props up North Korea as a buffer, geopolitical buffer, because if North Korea falls, South Korea overruns it, fills that vacuum, then China finds itself sharing a 900-mile border with South Korea and vicariously the United States. South Korea is our puppet administration, and China won't allow that to happen. China might not have complete control over North Korea, but they prefer the devil they have to the looming threat to them of South Korean and vicariously U.S. involvement. But what we have here is an honest disagreement over how you conduct foreign policy with countries like this. We have an honest disagreement when you have a menace of this sort, a saber rattler like a Kim Jong-un. He's not the first, won't be the last. Are you better off appeasing him? Are you better off giving him ground? Are you better off letting him continue to build? Or at some point, do you strike? And do you show the rest of the world you're serious? Do you show the rest of the world what you've been amassing over all these years? It's a difficult question. Of course we all want peace. But I don't think it's entirely honest to suggest that discussing military strikes and threatening military strikes is anti-peace. By which I mean, sometimes you avoid a fight by standing up to a bully. And sometimes you invite a fight by turning your back and walking away from it. Tillerson made a statement that Trump is using the language that those people understand. And for all my criticism of Trump, I think that Trump in some ways is uniquely positioned for a moment like this. You know, in 1980 when Ronald Reagan was elected, up until the final hours on January 20th, up until the final minutes, there's a documentary about this. Jimmy Carter is tying his tie, and he asks, I don't know, I think it was Zbigniew Brzezinski. He asks, names are flooding my mind, and I can't think of. He asked one of his top national security guys, "Do we have anything from the Iranians?" "No, sir, Mr. President." Carter was desperately trying to free the hostages on his watch so it could be his accomplishment. Minutes after Reagan becomes president, he's sworn in, Sam Donaldson says, "Mr. President, they've freed the hostages." Reagan's walking through a line that's been opened for him to pass through. And he stops, and I don't think this was accidental. And he says, "Yeah, they have. We're excited to get them on American soil." "Mr. President, did you personally negotiate this?" Because he wasn't yet the president, he was president-elect. And Reagan gives a knowing smile. Didn't matter if he negotiated it. The Iranians, even in a state of flux as they were, this country figuring out who it was going to be with its radical new leadership, understood Carter's to be trifled with, but Reagan's just crazy enough to finish us off.
That's right.
I'd rather have Donald Trump dealing with Little Kim than I would Barack Obama. I'll tell you that for sure.
Can't ignore the crazy.
The Michael Perry Show.
Can't do that.
Wake up with Walton and Johnson.
Look where we at. Look where we at right now. That dude's got missiles pointed at several countries. I mean, he could literally destroy the world if we let him. And that's what he wants to do. Absolutely, that's what he wants to do. Does that mean that we can allow that to happen? No. We cannot allow that to happen. You know why? Because why would we just sit back and allow someone to destroy the world? It's crazy to me. You cannot ignore someone that has been proving over and over and over again that he wants to play with his toys, his kid, his missiles. This is what he wants. No, not you, Easton. Kim Jong-un. Can't let him do that. Just can't let him do it. I mean,
Soon you may be kicking yourself in the head. I am Wesley Hogan with Westland Financial, and interest rates have gone up recently and will continue to rise.
I
but
guess.
they're still at historical lows. So don't delay. Let us lower your monthly payment, consolidate a first and second, pay off other debt.
The only
or drop
way
into a
that
15-year
this
loan with
can
no closing
be
costs. That's right. Nothing's rolled in your
treated.
Your appraisal, title, underwriting, settlement fee, everything. Do not
miss out on this historic
is to
opportunity,
bomb.
whether to purchase or refinance,
Bomb them. I mean, I really hate to say it like that, but it's just that there's no other way around it.
$1,000 a year. And by the way, Westland Financial now is proud to offer reverse mortgages for our clients over 62.
I would like to see if Trump can maybe
it's the biggest
have some kind of contact to possibly negotiate with him, but do I really believe that any conversation that would be had, would Kim Jong-un be honest and telling the truth? Can we trust him? Like, if we were to make like some kind of negotiation, is this really going to stop Kim Jong-un? Is he really? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't trust him. No, I think this is what this guy wants. And I want to call him a kid. I want to call Kim Jong-un a kid. I just do. I refer to him as a kid. No, okay. So, he's warmongering. And, like, right before I pressed the record button, the guy in the radio was saying, that if you were to take those missiles in North Korea and peel the stickers off, what you're going to find is it's going to say made in China. So, this is major when we include China. You know, and it's like, you want to ask South Koreans, let's not exclude them, because they're the ones that North Korea has been bullying the most because of their neighbors. You ask South Korea, like, what would you like to see what happen? Absolutely. Like, they're so over it. They're so over living in fear. These people live in fear. Real live fear. Real. That Kim Jong-un is just going to blow them off the map. Like, they won't even exist on Earth anymore with the nuclear power this little asshole has. Nobody takes that into consideration, though. Nobody cares what South Korea thinks. Why? Why not? Because those are the real people that's really under his thumb. And the poor people of North Korea, they have no idea. They have no idea. You know, it's such a controlled, isolated environment that he's created. These people, they have no clue. They have no clue what's going on. It's like they're just from birth programmed to be warmongering, and those poor people, they live in fear. You know, I was watching, oh, what's the name of that show? Unearthed or something like that. And they had satellite images of Earth at nighttime, right? And there was this one particular area that literally had, and I'm not talking about like the ocean, we're talking about landmass. And there was this one particular location, large location, that had no lights on at nighttime. Not one light on. You know, in space, satellite images, you can zoom in, you can, at nighttime, you can see like the night city lights, you know, and it happened to be North Korea. And the only place where there's really electricity is along that border, right there, the border of South Korea. The rest of his country, he has them living in such an uncivilized condition. It's like, it's a crime what he's doing to the people of his country. And it's sad because it's like, we can't even go over there and like, it's like the whole thing is a freaking mess. It's like, what do you do? What do you do? Do you just allow this guy to be a threat to the world and in his own country, and his own country people don't even know the difference? You know, they love the guy. It's, you know, because they're programmed to. But it's like, what do you do? We can't even go over there and rescue these people because they truly believe, because they don't know any different, that the way that they're living is normal.
Yeah.
They don't know any different.
Yeah.
So it's like we can't even go over there and help them.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. I don't know. I do. I don't like the idea of going to war. So I feel like all the wrong people profit for it. But in this particular situation, I feel like it's the only thing. I mean, the guy just threatened to blow up Guam. Okay? When you're making threats like that, and he's threatening that he has missiles that can reach the United States, like, what do you... Obviously, this is what he wants, okay? This is what he wants, so we gotta give it to him. Bottom line. Bottom motherfucking line. For real. We got to. We have no other freaking choice. None. It has to be done. Because if it's not, then he's going to actually carry out. Then he is going to feel like, okay, ain't nobody going to do nothing about it. Well, I guess that means that I can actually do this stuff and get away with it. Okay, try us. Send one missile to Guam and watch what happens. It's sad.
Mommy.
It's sad that we have, you know, people in the world that just want to destroy and destroy. But hey, it's reality. That's the world that we're living in. It's pretty freaking harsh, but elimination time. This is really gonna happen. It really is. I hope, I just wish a lot of you people would, pay attention to the serious things more. I mean, there's so much in the world that happens because you don't pay attention. And you don't care. If you were to care and you were to use your voice and you were to advocate for what's right and for what's wrong and stand up and, you know, holding people accountable, things would be a lot different. But here in America, I feel like we're just too lucky, and there's too many people that are ungrateful about that. We're literally one of the only countries in the world where we do have freedom, and then you have people telling you that you're not free because you got to pay taxes and you have to get a license and you got to get insurance. And there's reasons for all that. That is actually to protect you. I know, baby. I know. It's so hot. This is literally the best country on earth. And you people are being programmed and brainwashed to hate this country. And it's going to take someone dropping bombs on our soil to wake your ass up so that we can unite as a nation again. You have no clue. You have no clue until you've gone in a real war zone or you've been to a third world country and you've actually lived there for a freaking month. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear anything. You people are so freaking ungrateful. Have a good day. God bless America.